Children's Day of Broadcasting. Hello everyone, Mulishani Mulibwanji. My name is Miriam Pri and I'm the part of this year's team on Icdb. So this year's International Children's Day of Broadcasting with the theme that we are celebrating on children's rights, children's voices, our collective responsibilities. So, do we understand what children's rights are? Do we know some of the violations that children go through and some of the many kind of misconceptions that go around when it comes to children attaining their full rights? Well, today I am not alone. I am joined by a lot of vibrant youth who help us dive deep into the conversation on children's rights. So let's get started. Hello.
Hi,
So what do you understand by children's rights? Kindly introduce yourself and give us what you understand on children's rights.
my name is Mundia Luwinda, and what I understand about children's rights is that these are privileges and entitlements that are given to children by virtue of them being a child. So it's basically not just any person, it's people that are aged 18 and below. So provided you are among this age range, you are privileged and entitled to these rights that are called children's rights.
Thank you so much, Mundia. So from looking at Mundia's perspective, we can tell that children's rights are actually human rights that are just put down in a specific form to help us understand what children's rights are. Of course, children are human beings just like everybody else, so they have a special set of human rights which protect them and ensure their full safety. Hello.
Hello.
So what are some of the child rights that you know and you are aware of?
Okay, some of the child rights I know right to discrimination, right to participation, right to education. Yes, and so we all know that we're children and we have the rights. Those are claims that we need to claim, and if any rights are violated, we need to question the duty bearers.
All right, thank you so much. Looking at the African Charter on the rights and welfare of the child, we can see that children have their own special instrument of children's rights with their many privileges and the reasons why they have them. And then we look at the principles of non-discrimination, survival and development, as well as child participation. Hello.
Hello, hi.
Kindly introduce yourself and tell us some of the violations children face in society.
Okay, so hey everyone, my name is Mapalo Kaluya, and here talking about the children's rights and some of the violations that children face in society. I guess it's something that maybe parents or guardians don't really understand, and in all our rights are being violated because we don't have rights to participation or rights to speak with what we want. We might want to speak it out or like voice out our rights, but then we just don't have that courage or that confidence because we're scared to say, okay, what if I say this? No, is my mother going to agree? Is my mother going to disagree? So I guess in that way, our rights are being violated, and that's just something that I feel is not right. As children, and the rights that we are born with, we're supposed to like have that freedom to say, okay, if I can talk to my mom about this, obviously she's going to understand, and that way we can avoid children's rights being violated.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At least you gave us an understanding on what child rights actually are and some of the violations that we face as children in society. So moving on to Isaac. Hello.
Hi.
So can you help us understand some of the misconceptions we have towards children's rights and how we can help end the violations?
All right. So, hi everybody. Just as Miriam said, my name is Isaac Intelisha. So, some of the misconceptions which I've heard about children's rights, I've heard that my rights yama posikawana, as I've heard some of our parents say. But I'm here to tell you that actually rights sema posikapobana, they actually protect children from abuse, from neglect. Yeah. So those are some of the misconceptions which I've heard.
All right. So how can we help end some of these violations?
Right, so the best way of ending any single violation done against the child, to me, is through advocating. We need to have more material, more content on that speak about the discrimination of children's rights. Because if you go out there on Facebook, you find to say there are a lot of ads about games and whatnot, and yet there are not that many ads about children's rights. So yeah, we need more content or that speak about what children's rights are, what they do, and exactly what they protect. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Isaac. You've helped us have an insight on how we can help in the violations and how best we can understand the children's right. So I will be moving on to my first speaker to find out if here in Zambia we do have these policies that help us in promoting full child participation and realizations. And we look at the situation as we have so many policies, but Mundia will help us have an insight if implementation is being done correctly or if more work needs to be done in terms of implementation. So, Mundia, can you help us understand and briefly explain to us some of the policies we have on child rights and how is the implementation here in Zambia?
Okay. So recently we had the 2020 Children's Code Act, which was implemented or rather enacted to ensure that children are protected from abuse and that people get to know exactly what children's rights are and how they can protect them from harm and abuse. But then looking at what's on the ground, it seems a lot of people do not know about what children's rights are, despite the Children's Code Act specifying to say a child is any person that is 18 and below, and when they are subjected to any abuse, they have laid out where a child can go to and how the stakeholders can handle people that are perpetrators towards children. But then a lot of people do not know about children's rights, neither do they know about the Children's Code Act. So it's still being sensitized. A lot of people are still getting to know about it. Few people know about it. So you find even children, because if the adults do not know about it, then how are children going to know about it? Children that are at home under the care of adults. So I feel there's more needs to get to know about it and not just stick to knowing what the children's rights are, but also to ensure that what's being written in these policies and in every policies that are being enacted to protect children are being implemented and not just being sensitized to the people and just being baseless. Because if they're baseless, then children are not really being protected because the policies are there, but then children are not safe. So I feel there's more need to ensure that they stiffen the policies and also ensure that they're actually implementing what's being enacted for children's protection and against abuse.
All right, so a very general question. You've talked about different policies, but my question comes in as a child, when they give me one of those policies, is it easier for me to understand in terms of language complexity and also in terms of languages barriers, looking at different types of children and what type of languages they understand? So, is the language child friendly enough for me, and is it also appropriate enough for me to understand in terms of these policies?
Okay, I feel like there's a lack of child-friendly language in these policies that they make, because you find you read, maybe let's say the Children's Code Act. You find you try to read, but then you can't understand. It's for a person that's got the knowledge to understand what's really being written. So I feel it's not really accommodating every child in Zambia, because they're supposed to take into consideration the different language barriers that we have coming from different provinces and walks of life. So there's needs to at least make sure that the language that's being used, if not broken down into local languages, then make it more child friendly for any person, for any child to understand. Because if a child can't, because if an adult can't understand, then what more a child who doesn't have the knowledge about all these policies and yet they are meant for them. So there's needs to ensure that this the language that's used in these acts and policies favorable and easy to understand by the children and other children as well from different backgrounds and languages.
All right, thank you so much, Mundia, for giving us insights on some of the policies. We can tell that Zambia, indeed, we do have policies on child rights, but let's talk about implementation in certain situations. So I will go to if another child who's actually currently in school to tell us if in schools they actually learn about these policies and how best they can implement them. Hello, Emily.
Hi,
Hi,
Miriam.
once again.
Hi.
So looking at you in a uniform, we can tell you are from school. So I want to find out from the school level, are you learning about these policies that we have as children? Are you learning about these policies, and how many children in your school can you estimate know about such policies and rights?
Okay. So thank you for the question. Um, I being in grade 12, I feel we learn about these policies because there's a subject we actually learn about children's rights, which is civic education, and I feel by them being in the school curriculum, they are doing enough, because at least if you can learn them in some other places, you can learn them in the universities, in the school premises.
All right. So what about a child who's currently not in school or not yet in grade 12? Because look at certain subjects, they start from a certain level. So
Yes.
how best can they learn about such rights?
I think since we have some organization that deal with children and children's rights, I feel sensitization would be the best way to pass out the information on children's rights.
All right, thank you so much, Emily. It's good to get from someone who's actually in school and seeing what's going on compared to anybody else. And you've told us that we do have subjects, and with the new curriculum, we hope there's more improvement and more work being done in terms of learning about children's rights. So we'll move to someone who's very creative in whatever they do. They use arts, creativity to ensure that they help spread awareness and also express themselves. So, Mapalo,
Hey.
my question is, what other ways can we use to advocate for children's rights? What other ways and platforms?
I guess we can like since how can I put it in this way? We all have talents. Every child has been gifted with a talent. So I feel we can use our talents to like advocate and implement on the children's rights. Like seeing with what we have. Let me say, for an instance, I can sing. I can come up with a song that talks about children's rights, and that song would like go viral and like everybody could know about it. Or maybe we can talk about the artwork, like we can just do the art and writing down the art. And we also have poetry. Yeah, we've got different varieties that we can actually use talent. I best believe we can use talent to like advocate and implement on the rights of the child. Yeah.
Thank you. Since we know children don't like boring stuff and they
Yeah,
like things to
oh,
be very interesting
exactly. Yeah.
and all, so we are going to look at an aspect of a male who's the only male on the ground to tell us more about how them as boys are actually, as men, as boys, as whatsoever, since if I say a boy may be offended, actually express themselves and how they are treated in terms of them participating and approaching their rights. Let me even specify on this one, right?
Mhm.
Of expression. We
Yeah.
look at the issue of gender, and males don't really express themselves as much as females. So can you briefly break it down on the importance of expression in terms of equality and how best we can learn about our rights equally?
Well, looking at it, first of all, it is important to know that I'm still a boy, I'm still a child, very much. Yeah, and when you look at when it comes to expression and even equality, we boys have been traumatized, so to say, that whenever, let's say, I'm abused in a home, and then I maybe try to go and vent to my friends, you find out to say that my friends will start laughing at me. Why? Because in their homes, in every single homes that they come from, they have been told to say that Mamuna Samadida, Mamuna Sangankale abused and whatnot. So which simply means that even as a child, if a child is laughing at you if you're abused, it simply means that if I go to the police, let's say that I will pray that this never happens to me, I am defiled, and then I go to the police trying to report my defiler. The police will start laughing at me, and therefore I'll start developing a faith to say that no, the police won't help you if anything happens to you. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that we boys have been facing in the community.
Thank you so much. So insightful, because I'm sure Zambia were very familiar with the issue of Mwamuna Samale and something that we've been trying to advocate for, because we've seen boys as young as 15 years old, 16,
14 years
yeah,
old.
getting abused, but they don't go because they're scared they'll be some of discriminated or maybe laughed at and looked at as less of a man. Because how can you complain about a female abusing you when you're a male and you're not supposed to be abusing anyway? So thank you so much for joining us. This has been me, Miriam Perry, for part one to understanding this year's theme, which is child rights, our voices, and
Our collectives.
International Children's Day of Broadcasting.
Children's rights, children's voices, our collective responsibility. As we dive into this year's theme for the ICDB celebrations, we are looking at the second aspect, which is children's voices. My name is Mundia Lewinda, and I have a team of vibrant boys and girls behind me, and we're going to talk about how children can participate at home, in school, and in the society, and why children's voices are important. So I'm going to start with my first colleague here. Hi, Isaac.
Hello, Munir.
So looking at children's voices as our second part of the theme for
Mhm.
ICDB celebrations this year, why do you think children's voices are important?
Well, good. I hope everybody's having a lovely time. And why? What do I think if children's voices are important today now? I feel like children voices are indeed important because we say that imiticula impanga, and also we also say that children are the future leaders of today and tomorrow. Therefore, it is important to have children in every single directive in which we're making decisions, because how can you have a grown up make decisions if in their childhood they never did it? It would be a new experience for them. Therefore, if we have them making decisions now, participating now, it simply means that they will be making good decisions once they reach adulthood and are in a position of power. Thank you.
Okay, so we have understood why children's rights are important, because there's nothing for children without the children. So there's need for children to fully participate and be part of the decision making processes at home and everywhere in society. So looking at my second speaker here, so looking at the aspect of children's voices, do you think children's voices are heard enough, or do you think we need more platforms or days to celebrate such days, to ensure that children's voices are heard on a wider platform?
Yeah, I think children's voices can be heard on a wider platform, and I think we can't only celebrate or have a day of the children's voices being heard once a year. I feel us as children, our voices, or yeah, our speech to like talking are like being violated, because we only have to like talk it once a year, which like take months from there. So I feel we can celebrate it, or like have a platform that we can like usually talk about the issues that concern with children, whereby our voices are being heard maybe like once a month, which is we can have like 12 times, we can like talk about this, which is like 12 times in 12 months, and like us talking about it in one time, which is like 12 months. So I feel it has to be heard like in wider platforms, and like we can talk about it in, yeah, like talk about
Yeah.
it in every month of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mapalo. So we have heard that children want to be heard more and want to be given more platforms, because ICDB and other commemorative days are not enough. So here with me, I would like you to introduce yourself and then also tell me why is it important for children to participate in a home environment, in a home setup? Why do you think children's voices are important?
All right, thank you very much, Mundia. So my name is Mule Mwalike, coming from the Media Network on Child Rights and Development, that is MNCRD. Then responding to your question on why I think it's important for children to be participating in a home setup, for example. So we must understand one thing, and that is, in order for child participation to be realized, in order for people to actualize the statement that says children are the future leaders, we must start from somewhere. And the best place to always start from is the home setup. They always say charity begins at home, and in this case, you have to take it literally. So, for example, here's a household where, for example, you have two parents and two children. One is older, obviously, and the other child is younger. A time comes when they have to grow and start taking up responsibilities. And by virtue of them taking up those responsibilities, is actually a way of training them on the many different leadership roles and activities that they have to encounter in their many different aspects of life. And that is the reason why you see that if a child is not really properly trained or brought up well from their homes in terms of leadership, that is the reason why you find that many other times they end up failing even when they're given a larger space. So I feel it's very important to start at home so that at least you groom them enough. In fact, we are living in a world where they want prior experience to many things, and experience that is taught at home is the best experience that one might ask for. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Mulemwa. So we have heard that children's voices are important in a home setup because charity begins at home. So I'm now going to move to the next speaker, and I want her to tell me some of the challenges that children face when it comes to participating. Why do children fail to express themselves? Why do children fail to participate in decision making processes at home, at school, or the national level? What are some of the challenges or the hindrances that stop these children from participating and airing out their views?
All right, thank you so much, Mundia. In my introduction, my name is Miriam Puri. So, from your question of what are some of the challenges that hinder children from participating, just coming to the home setup, Zambia is a very culture-dominated country where we have so many cultural norms that hinder certain child's rights. But when it comes to form of participations, why children are not actually allowed a lot to express themselves, even worse when you're a female. They expect girls to be always quiet, not talk about anything affecting them, because they believe that is what's best supposed to be done for a girl who's humble and decent enough to respect the Zambian culture. So looking at all those cultural norms that hinder child participation, we see as in that's what's actually killing children from the inside, because we look at the cultural aspect, also go to the fear of expressing yourself to your parents. That's why I find some certain children actually didn't go as far as committing suicide, because they know that my parents will not hear me out in this situation, or they know that my parents actually get furious instead of trying to help me in this situation and punish me instead. So we look at many aspects, and also some other aspect can be the decorative form of child participation, where children are actually supposed to participate and express themselves what's best they understand. But you find children don't do that. Instead, maybe some government officials, some duty bearers, some civil societies may get the child just for decoration to show that the child is actually participating. So we get a child just to go say a poem. They don't even know what's being talked about. The environment is not conducive enough for them to participate. So you find they're only there in pictures and they're in a certain posters so that a child was being represented. But the question is, did they actually participate? Did they actually bring out their views? They talk about the issues affecting them. We look at all those angles and we see from the cultural area to the opportunities and platforms and the type of participation that we have. It's very difficult for a child to express themselves and enjoy their full rights to participation.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we have heard from Miriam that some of the challenges that children face when it comes to participation are some cultural beliefs, such as the Zambian culture, where children are not allowed to speak up, especially girls, due to some harmful cultural practices where children are supposed to be humble and all that. So I'm now going to move to the next speaker, and I would like him to tell me what the duty bearers must do for children to participate, rather than just on days such as the ICDB. How can the duty bearers also come in at home, at school? How can they make the environment safe or more child friendly for children to participate?
Hi, India again.
Hello.
Yeah, so just hearing your question, it does give me a bit of chills because it is kind of tricky, but in
Yeah.
my best way of my understanding, it is important to acknowledge that we usually say that duty bearers are only those who are found in government, but for me, duty bearers are those who make decisions that affect everybody. Like in this situation, we're talking about children. Therefore, duty bearers are those people who make decisions that affect children. So those are ministers, parents, teachers, and whatnot. So what I think is that they need to encourage more self-esteem because we do have a lot of children who have a lot of information but lack the self-esteem. They lack the confidence to speak out. Therefore, it is important that we come up with creative programs that will help bring out a child creativeness. For example, I'm not a big fan of how we learn in schools, whereby we sit in rows and columns and whatnot. Therefore, I think it's best that we have now in schools that children are able to sit freely so that they're able to participate freely. Children are able to not to sit because there are some children who don't like sitting in an orderly manner. They don't like sitting in rows and columns. They like maybe to sit pakati paro divija in a classroom, of course. Therefore, I believe that we need to have more flexibility in the classroom so that we can have more creative children in the home, in the society. And also coming back to the home, what I think should be done is that parents need to let their children be free when they come at home. They do not have to be that tough parent every day. Because yeah, we understand. We need children also a bit of a need of toughness in order for them to come out right, but also these things need to be free. I've heard children say, inakuwa tunkafika nendo pesa barambo, whereby that child is even afraid of speaking up in their own home. Therefore, they won't have that confidence in their own home. So if they do not have the confidence in their own home, they definitely won't have the confidence in society to speak up on issues. And also, I think we need, as media houses, as government, we need such more programs such as ICDB in order for us to have more creative children. Because today on ICDB, we are talking about children taking over the airways. So it will be mostly those confident ones, those with self-esteem. What about those without self-esteem? We need programs that will build up their self-esteem. So that whenever ICDB comes around in the once a year, they'll have the confidence to participate. And also, just to add the cherry on top, having ICDB once a year is kind of a bigger challenge to ask children to participate because most of us children rely on ICDB to voice out our issues. Therefore, we need more days. We need maybe International Children's Week of Broadcasting, something like that, or International Children's Day of Broadcasting, whereby we have 30 good days of where children take over their airspace and make proper time. Because today, if today is the 4th of March, it's maybe a Monday, I've missed ICGB and I have a burning issue. Simply means I have to wait for the whole year and come on that first Sunday of the March, which is today, to voice out my issue. I cannot wait for all that time. I may forget. Therefore, we need this to be either happening on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Isaac. We have gotten insights from how children can speak up and how duty bearers can make the environment more child friendly for children to speak up, and also how we can bring about more children to participate uh, uh, on days such as ICDB. I would also like to put a conclusion to say it's not only ICDB is not only for the children that are able, but it's also for the children from different backgrounds, from urban areas, peri-urban areas, and rural areas as well. So, with that conclusion, I would like to say that we have broken down why children's voices are important as the second aspect of this year's theme, which is children's rights, children's voices, our collective responsibility. See you in the next episode. Thank you.
International Children's Day of Broadcasting.
Hi, of course, you know my name. It is Isaac International here. And today, of course, being a Sunday, we are celebrating the Children's International Day of Broadcasting. And yeah, we've gotten to that third part, the third anticipated part. We are talking about children's responsibilities, is it our responsibility, because looking at today's theme is children's rights, children's voices, our collective responsibilities. And of course, first up to talk about this interesting part of the theme, for me, it is very, very interesting, is of course our very own. She is the CNA chairperson of the Media Network on Child Rights and Development. Is another line, Miriam Piri. Hi, Miriam.
Hello, Isaac.
How are you doing?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm good. So my part is interesting and short, like me, if you've guessed. So I would like to get it from you. Who do you think is in charge of seeing that a child enjoys their responsibility, enjoys their rights and
All right.
welfare?
So, from the theme, which also includes the word collective,
Yeah.
it's everybody's
Yeah.
responsibility to ensure that the child attains and also enjoys their rights. Because if only my parents are the ones who want me to enjoy my rights, and deep down myself, I know I don't want to, it's going to be very difficult for me to enjoy them or for me to participate, knowing that deep down I don't want to be part of that participation. And of course, we look at it most as the aspect and setup of duty bearers such as our parents, government officials, and stakeholders when it comes to responsibilities, because they're the ones who ensure that we get the platforms for us to open up and speak about the various issues that we are facing. Going from a home aspect, I cannot talk about the family budget minus my family being comfortable with me talking about their budget, because if my parents allow me to bring inputs on what should be brought into the house and the
Yeah.
things I want, it will be easier for me to participate compared to I want to participate in the family budget, but my parents don't want me to do that and they believe I'm not supposed to be part of those issues. So, give a situation, I grow up, I have my own home, I have never made a budget. So, as a result, you find it's difficult for me to grow up with something I wasn't doing as a child. For me to be a leader, I need to be a leader right now.
Yeah.
I need to learn, I need to practice, I need to be given the information right now for me to grow from it, learn from it, and also be able to give back to the community that it gave to me. So, if the community gives me nothing, my family gives me nothing, different stakeholders give me nothing, I'm going to end up giving back nothing to the community. So, it's about the responsibilities of stakeholders who give platforms, parents in terms of their support, and also me myself to respect others the way I want to be respected too.
All right, thank you very much, Miriam. It was nice having a good word with you. But yeah, we've gotten it from Miriam. From her, it's everybody is responsible, starting from parents to children themselves. Therefore, I am gonna move on to my next speaker, of course, and this speaker is also a boy like me. I'm finally able to talk to a boy after interacting with the girls so much. So right now, we're gonna go to Mulemwa. Hi, Mulemwa.
Hi, Isaac. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I would like you to get it from you. Who do you think? What are some of the policies, so to say, that are already in place to ensure that we have already identified who is responsible for children enjoying their rights? Because we have already established to say that everybody is responsible for children enjoying their rights. So, do we have policies that say that okay, yes, we've got this person will be held accountable if they do not ensure that our children's rights are upheld?
All right, thank you very much, Isaac. So, in line with policies, we've actually got quite a number. So, as it stands, as of 2022, an act of parliament was passed, the Children's Court Act,
Yeah.
and it was enacted to be law. So now that is one policy I would say that is binding, whereby, for example, if a child who is supposed to be looked after is neglected, then the people that are in charge of that person, or let me just say the caregivers, are supposed to face the full course of the law. And apart from that, we have what is known as the Child Participation Framework. So this is a policy that was initiated last year, and its primary focus is on making sure that children are participating. We know that in as much as children are participating, they're supposed to be looked after, is it?
Yes.
According to the four principles of the United Nations on the rights of the child, the UNCRC, we find that there is one principle which denotes the best interests of the child. And because of that, it is important that in as much as children are participating, they are participating in line with their best interests. It's not every matter that children are supposed to comment on, and it's not every matter that children are supposed to be left from. So, when it comes to caregivers and the policies that have been put in place, there are quite a number, and they are vividly explaining the do's and don'ts that are involved when it comes to children and them being given the care they require.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much, Mulemwa.
Yeah, most welcome.
It was indeed also a wonderful time having a chat with you. You know, we have gotten it from Mulemwa, who has told us that yes, we do have policies that ensure that people who are responsible in taking care of a child are held accountable. I am gonna go to one of who I think are my last speakers. You know, my good friend. This person I've known her maybe for the longest time of my friends. Yeah, this is none other than Mundia. So Mundia, I would like you to get it from you. You know, Mulemwa and Miriam have told us to say that yes, we do have people. Everybody is in charge of seeing that children's rights are enjoyed. You know, Miriam and Mulemwa further on went on to say that in as much as we have teachers, parents, and whatnot, we do have legislative acts that say that these people will be held accountable if children's rights are ignored while the child is under their care. But I'd like you to get it from you, you know, and I heard that you're doing something in the law background. So I'd like to get your advice to everybody out there who hasn't been given children the care and the responsibility that children need.
Okay, thank you very much, Isaac. So it is the duty of the parents, first, just like one of the other speakers alluded to say, when you're at home, when you're in a home setup, it's the parents that look after you. If you don't have the parents, then it's the guardian, yes? So those people are in charge of you until you're fully grown and developed to be able to take care of yourself. So it actually neglection is a crime in Zambia. For example, there was a mother that left a 2-year-old child at home, and then she went out to go and drink and then found the child touched the brazier while it was fire. So the mother can actually get arrested for that because that child is under her care. So despite us having laws and all these things, people do not really take it serious because they do not know that actually neglecting children is a crime. So it is indeed a crime, and parents are supposed to ensure that children are protected, guided, and are given everything that they need, such as basic needs, protection, safety, shelter, and everything. So children are under their parents' care at home. When at school, they're under the care of their teachers. When at national level, you can be maybe in a meeting. You have people that will guide you and will protect you from any harm that might happen. So all these people need to ensure that children are provided for and are cared for and are protected. Because if not, if anything ends up happening to the child, it is indeed a crime and they'll get punished for that.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you for giving us a lot of information in such a short time. But anyway, you have heard it from me and my team. We have broke down children's rights. We have broke down children's voices. And just now we're just from breaking down the collective responsibility, which is also, if you have heard of it, it is under our theme. And yes, our theme is children's rights, children's voices, our collective responsibilities. My name is Isaac Intalasha, and for me and my team, we say goodbye and enjoy today, which is the International Children's Day of Broadcasting. Thank you.